All right, today we are talking about one of the most popular, most elegant houseplants that you can find, the peace lily. And if you've ever had one, you know they can be a little, well, a little expressive. So let's break down exactly what you need to do to keep them happy and thriving.
Okay, let's just get this out in the open right away. Have you ever walked past your peace lily and it's just completely flopped over? One minute it's fine, the next it looks like it's seen a ghost. Yeah, it's definitely earned a reputation for being a bit of a drama queen, right?
But here's the secret. It's not actually being dramatic. It's being super communicative. That big droopy display is just its way of yelling, "Hey, I need something over here." And honestly, once you learn to speak its language, taking care of it becomes so simple.
So let's get a proper introduction. Its fancy name is Spassiphyllum, but we all know and love it as the peace lily. It's a tropical plant hailing from the rainforests of Central and South America. And that name? Well, it comes from those beautiful, iconic white flowers, which look just like a white flag of, you guessed it, peace. It's a gorgeous plant with a pretty cool name.
All right, let's get into the good stuff. When it comes to mastering peace lily care, you really only need to get two things right. Two golden rules, and it all comes down to light and water. If you can nail these two, you are 90% of the way there. I promise.
So, rule number one, the right light. This is probably the #1 mistake people make with these plants. Finding that perfect Goldilocks zone of brightness is absolutely crucial.
Here's the deal. Peace lilies love bright light, but they cannot stand direct sunlight. You can think of direct sun as a nasty sunburn for their leaves. It'll literally scorch them. What you're aiming for is bright, indirect light. That's the sweet spot. That's what gives you a healthy, happy, thriving plant.
So where do you find that perfect spot? Well, an east or west-facing window is pretty much ideal. If all you've got is a south-facing window, that can work, but you'll want to filter that intense light with a sheer curtain or just pull the plant back a few feet. And sure, it'll tolerate a low-light north window, but you probably won't get any of those famous white flowers we all want to see.
And that brings us to golden rule number 2, water. This is where that dramatic wilting comes in. That big droop is your #1 signal that it's time to pay attention to the watering can.
Now the method is super simple. Step 1, and this is the most important, always check the soil first. Don't just water on a schedule like every Saturday. Stick your finger in there and wait until it's mostly dry. When it is time, water it thoroughly. Drench it until water flows freely from the drainage holes at the bottom. And the last step, which is just as critical, let all that excess water drain away. Don't let it sit in a saucer of water, because that's the fastest way to get root rot. So if you remember one thing about watering, let it be this mantra. Keep the soil moist, but not waterlogged. It's all about balance. Your plant will tell you when it's thirsty. You just have to know how to listen. Okay, golden rules are covered. Now, let's talk about creating the perfect environment. Remember, these are tropical plants, so giving them a little taste of their native home is going to make them really, really happy. First on the list is humidity. Since they come from the rainforest floor, peace lilies are used to a lot of moisture in the air. Now, they'll tolerate the average humidity in our homes just fine, but giving them a little boost can make a huge difference.
And it's pretty easy to do. A really simple trick is to place the pot on a tray filled with pebbles and a little water. As that water evaporates, it creates a nice little humid microclimate right around the plant. Or, if you've got one, a humidifier nearby works wonders. It's a simple fix that encourages lush, vibrant growth.
Next up, temperature. And I've got good news for you here. Peace lilies pretty much like the same temperatures that we do. So if you're comfortable in your home, chances are your plant is too.
The sweet spot is somewhere between 65 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 18 to 27 degrees Celsius. What's really important here is consistency. Keep them away from drafty windows or doors, and they really don't like sudden drops in temperature, especially anything below 55 Fahrenheit. And finally, let's get our hands dirty and talk about soil. This is literally the foundation for your plant's health, so getting the right mix is a big deal for its long-term happiness.
You don't need to get too crazy here. A standard all-purpose potting mix that's rich in nutrients and drains well is perfect. Here's a pro tip. Mix in some perlite. You know, those little white puffy things? They help create air pockets in the soil and seriously improve drainage, which is key to preventing that waterlogged situation we talked about.
Okay, now for my favorite part, learning to read the signs. Once you know what to look for, your peace lily will tell you exactly what's going on long before it becomes a real problem.
Think of it as becoming a plant detective. Here's your cheat sheet. If you see those droopy, wilting leaves and the soil feels like a desert, the diagnosis is simple. Your plant is thirsty. It needs a drink. On the flip side, if the leaves are turning yellow, especially near the base, and the soil is constantly soggy, you're overwatering. And what if you're just not getting any of those famous white flowers? Well, that's usually a sign it needs a little more indirect light or maybe a boost in humidity. See? Easy.
Before we wrap this up, there is one last and really important thing we need to cover. This is all about keeping everyone in your home safe.
Let's be crystal clear about this. Peace lilies are absolutely beautiful to look at, but they are not for eating. This is super important information, especially if you have curious pets or little kids running around. And here's why. The plant contains these things called calcium oxalate crystals. If they're ingested, these sharp little crystals can cause some pretty nasty irritation and are considered toxic to both people and animals. So the takeaway here is simple but crucial. Always, always keep your peace lily well out of reach of children and pets.
So, the next time you see your peace lily looking a little dramatic, remember, it's not a diva, it's a communicator. From its wilting leaves to its yellowing tips, it's constantly sending you signals about what it needs to thrive. The only real question is, are you ready to listen?